Well, nothing's really changed.
Nothing's really changed since the all-time high. I was always taught early on, a declining price market accompanied by a rapidly declining open interest means the market is breaking down structurally. And so I go back to the very, very basic principle of if I like apples, I don't like them less because they're on sale.
With the markets rebounding in the last 24 hours, everyone seems to be flipping bullish, but is this a sensible decision? Could we see a bull trap, or is there something underlying that's even more positive that no one's talking about? Well, Eric Trump himself going big on Bitcoin mining.
Hey friends, Eric Trump. Welcome to American Bitcoin. It's a little sneak peek of our facility in Texas using American energy to mine Bitcoin right here on American soil.
And therefore the big question, has anything changed? Well, I have got something you definitely need to see in this video. Stick around to the end because we're going to talk about how this market can skyrocket once again and the key things that need to keep happening in order to keep Bitcoin moving. So smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. We've got some absolute alpha in this video for you guys. So hit the subscribe button and let's get into it. So with over $1 trillion added back into the stock market and the same to be said for the crypto market breaking back above $3 trillion, it's a good day in the markets. The last 24 hours, we've seen capital inflows and people starting to turn bullish. Now, this is, again, not a wise idea just at the minute. Yes, we can absolutely say that there is a bit of upside momentum coming, but I would wait for a confirmation. What's interesting right now, though, is what is playing out in the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin. And let me show you a really quick chart. As you can see here on the chart, we've got the price of Bitcoin and the QQQ, which is generally the big stock market index that a lot of people track. Historically, the Qs have been something that leads the price of Bitcoin. What you can note here on the chart, though, is the opposite has been happening, and the two have been tracking pretty much exactly. You can see where we see the upside momentum in the market following perfectly with the move on Bitcoin, and then likewise, as we see this continuation to the downside, the Qs doing exactly the same. Now, something happened today which is super interesting. Bitcoin led the Qs. In fact, Bitcoin rallied out of the Asian markets and pushed higher, followed by the Qs, and that momentum together has actually driven Bitcoin price up. Combined with the fact that open interest bottomed out, and this generally is a sign for the bottom in the market, is this exactly what is playing out? Many people believe that this could be the bottom. I would just err with a little bit of caution. There are seasonal macro data that we're going to get later today that could give us an idea. Some of that being the ISM data, which you guys know I've talked about for a while. What's interesting here is the BTC versus ISM chart, and lots of indicators right now are telling us that upside momentum may be on the cards. The US Kansas Fed Manufacturing Index, which may be giving us a clue as to the next direction of the market. It seems, well, the reality is that we could see a little bit more upside move. Bitcoin never saw a real euphoric phase in the market, which could lend us to believe that 2026 could be the top that we've got. So with an uptrending in the Qs, Tesla, for example, coming back today, and actually Bitcoin rallying over 2% with some altcoins hitting double digits, XRP, for example. Well, this does sign a little bit more optimism in the market. Obviously, the market opens today is going to be something worth noting, but there is also some bigger headlines that are worth noting. Obviously, we have a lack of data right now, and we're going to get in 15 days those Fed decisions on interest rates and much more. But take a look at some of these. CPI inflation currently sitting at 2.37%. This is actually down from BLS reported rate of 3%. This is good news. We have an aggregated CPI of around 28.42, which is a very minuscule uptick. Again, this is pretty good news, shows a bit of stability within the market. Trueflation on PCE, guess what? It's down where we've been over the course of the last few weeks. This is good. This is telling us that, well, things are getting a little bit cheaper. The one thing to be mindful of, and we've discussed it at length here on the channel, is trueflation on employment. This actually continues to tick up with around 143,000 jobs as a potential risk, and that's up 0.13%. So this absolutely aligns to the federal rate coming down, and I'll touch on that towards the back end of the video. So with all of that macro stuff going on, there is also just a bit of degeneracy, which may start to see the markets push further higher. I'm going to cast your mind back to GameStop. Everyone knows what happened with that. The big short squeeze where everyone just decided they were going to buy GameStop and, well, let the little guy win. Well, guess what? The same is kind of happening right now. If you saw my video yesterday, I talked about how JP Morgan poked the bull in this case? Well, look, the same is happening right now. Cynthia Loomis giving us the view here that Operation Choke Point 2.0 regrettably lives on, with JP Morgan Chase ending banking ties with Strike CEO and rekindling crypto debanking concerns. This could be seen as a bearish catalyst. And in fact, many people thinking, whoa, this is the end. We're back to the bear market and, well, regulation is going to come in. The absolute opposite, though, has come in, with many people rallying now behind MicroStrategy, which, by the way, JP Morgan have a big short on, with people like Grant Cardone and many others supporting a removal of their accounts and a push on MicroStrategy. Well, the reality is we now start to see RSI divergence, MACD curling up, and the Williams percent range divergence also ticking to the upside. Are we going to see the crypto community rally around Michael Saylor and strategy, as well as some of the big OG whales in the space, to, well, stick it to JP Morgan? This absolutely could be a positive catalyst in the market, as capital is going to flow into Bitcoin as opposed to anything else. And even if you think about anything else, 401k supply, guess what? This is on the move as well. And we have actually seen this continuous build in 401ks. Regulation applied the fact that they could actually be held. And, well, the reality is $72 billion in Bitcoin since 2032. Annual inflows now 1/3 of the entire miner supply. Simply put, we are seeing more and more Bitcoin heading to these 401ks, as well as institutional ETF demand, which could see us further push up. And given the fact we've got cheap money coming, why do I say that? I talked a little bit about the Fed decision for interest rates. So with all of that data we talked about on inflation, jobs market, well, guess what? We're now at 85%. And therefore, my prediction, or certainly my theory, still sits that we may even get a double base rate cut in December. If things continue like they are, this could be at 99% by the end of this week. We could see positive inflows into the market. In fact, everyone could go bullish. My view at the little bit, though, I want to see some really solid confirmation, some key price targets that we're going to hit to absolutely be definitive as to where this is going to go. I think the next 24 hours are going to be critical. Is the Qs going to lead Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin going to lead the Qs? And more importantly, when we break back above $90,000, that's my first price target. The reversal, in my view, would be in. Then you want to look at maybe 100,000. And I think if we break those, we could let ourselves believe there may just be a little bit more left in this market, but certainly heading into 2026. So let me know what you think of all of this in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the stock market. And more importantly, let me know what you think of JP Morgan Chase going after Operation Choke Point 2.0 up Michael Saylor. And fingers crossed, the markets continue to do exactly the same. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.